In this lesson, we're going to take a look at the hierarchy of objects inside of Oracle Application Express. It's important to understand all of the major pieces of Oracle Application Express and how their hierarchical relationships relate to one another. We're going to take a look at workspaces, application, pages, regions, and items. And in order to fully explain each one of these pieces of the hierarchy, I'm going to draw an analogy with something that you should already be familiar with, the Oracle database. Let's draw an analogy between an Oracle database and the Apex environment. This should help you understand all of the different pieces that make up Apex and how they relate to one another. In an Oracle database, we have a hierarchy of objects inside the database that make it up. Every database is made up of table spaces. These table spaces are used to organize all of the different physical objects that make up your Oracle database. Every Oracle table space is made up of data files. Those data files have segments inside of them. Each one of those segments has extents, which are physical space inside the data files. Each one of those extents is made up of blocks, which are physical blocks at the operating system level. And inside each one of those blocks are rows of data. There are two aspects of this hierarchy that are very important to understand when you're dealing with Apex and the objects that make up your Apex environment. The first thing to understand is that there is a one-to-many relationship between all of the different pieces that make up your Oracle database. So an Oracle database is made up of one or more table spaces. When you create an Oracle database, there's always a system table space, but you can create more table spaces after that. Each table space is made up of one or more data files. Those data files can contain one or more segments. Each segment has one or more extents associated with it. Every extent has one or more blocks associated with it. And inside each one of those blocks, you have one or more rows of data that are associated with it. So for every object moving down the list, there is a one-to-many relationship. The second important concept to understand is the fact that anytime you do something at a certain level, it affects everything below that level. So let's say hypothetically, inside my Oracle database, I drop a data file. Everything below that level inside the database is affected. All of the segments in that data file are gone. All of the extents for those segments are gone. The blocks that make up those extents are gone. And obviously the rows of data are gone. Nothing is affected above that. So I can drop a data file, but the table space still exists and the database still exists. So the two important concepts to understand is the one-to-many relationship between the hierarchical pieces inside your database and the fact that anytime I do something at a certain level, it affects everything below that level, but nothing above that level. Apex has a similar hierarchy. At the top level is something called a workspace. A workspace is a way of organizing all of your applications. Inside that workspace, you have applications. Your applications are made up of pages. Your pages have regions in them, and your regions are made up of items. Again, the same two principles apply. Apex is made up of one or more workspaces. A workspace can have one or more applications defined inside of it. An application is made up of one or more pages. A page has one or more regions associated with it, and a region has one or more items associated with it. The second principle is that everything that you do at a certain level affects everything below it, but nothing above it. So if I were to go into Apex and let's say delete an application, all of the pages associated with that application, the regions on those pages, and the items inside of those regions are gone. But everything above it stays the same. The application may be gone, but the workspace is still there, and my Apex environment is still there. So it's very important to understand how the Apex hierarchy is going to affect your decisions in terms of administrating your environment and doing actual development inside of your environment. Once you understand these pieces, working with Apex becomes a lot easier.